Hey guys, welcome back to my Wicked Wednesday tutorials. This Wednesday I'm going to be doing the Cheshire Cat makeup. I'll be doing the Tim Burton version of it, so if you'd like to see how that's done, keep watching. So for this tutorial you're going to need white face paint, black face paint, a light blue face paint, and a pink face paint. You're also going to need a makeup sponge, just the usual when you're applying face paint. So I'm also going to be using the Nude 2 palette. I'm going to be using two shades in this. I'm going to be using the Midnight shade, the black one right at the end here. And I'm also going to be using this white one here called Selfie. You're also going to need a set of brushes. I will be using just a sponge to apply the base coat. And then the rest of it I will be applying with fan-tailed brush, like that. So if you don't have one of these, I would recommend getting one. Okay, so let's get into this. So first you're going to want to apply your white base coat, and I will show you the parts that you do not want to cover while I'm doing it, but it's majority just the eyes. You're going to want to leave a space to colour in the eyes, and as well the mouth. Anyway, let's get started. Once again, I have forgotten to take my nose ring out, so just remember, if you are doing a full face paint, it is always a wise idea to take out any piercings, just so it doesn't ruin the whole effect of it. And also, this mouth that I've drawn is just a very rough idea. I will have it coming up further, up to the side here. Okay, so now I'm going to outline the majority of the features on the Cheshire Cat. So I will be doing the nose, the mouth, and the eyes. Just remember that the nose does join up the mouth with the little kind of split down the middle of the lips that the cat has. So just remember to not have the nose too far away from the mouth, otherwise you will be having a massive line running down the middle of your face. So for this you're going to want the black face paint and just a reasonably thin Just remember that the smile doesn't have to be too symmetrical. Happy with that. There was just one spot that I think I went a little bit too far with. So I will just try and cover that with a little bit of face paint. And with the same brush, you're just going to want to be outlining the eyes as well. Which a fairly good guide and to try and black out your eyebrows is to pretty much do the line for the top of the eye about halfway through the eyebrow and just bring it back around and down. So doing that kind of breaks up the darkness of the eyebrow and makes it a little bit harder to spot on your face. So if you're pretty happy with how they are symmetrical wise, just leave them to dry. So next I'm just going to get started with the nose. I'm using a tiny weeny little brush for this. You could use something bigger, but it's just the one that I had handy. I will be adding in the nostrils later with some black eyeshadow, so just always remember to leave some room for that. And if you're ever worried that the face paint is going to smudge and mix in with the other colours, just try dabbing it, lightly dabbing it, just gently pressing and dabbing like that. And it will stop the smearing effect. So next I'm going to be taking that tiny brush again and using the black, and this time I'm going to be outlining the teeth on the Cheshire Cat. With this you might want to check your reference photo for that. It does always try and start with the two middle teeth first, as it gives you the symmetrical line down the middle of your two front teeth, because if you do start from the side, chances are you'll end up with one middle tooth over here and the other one over here, and it just doesn't look right. Or you might end up with one tooth just smack bang in the middle. and it just doesn't have quite the same effect that doing it from the middle outwards would. Now that you've got all the teeth lined up, just go in and fill in the gaps in between the two rows of teeth just with some black. So my camera just cut out midway through me talking, but as I was saying, you just want to go through and fill in the rest of the teeth with the white. So once they're all done and you're happy with how they look, just leave them all to dry for a good minute or two also, and get started on your eyes. So for the eyes, you're going to want the blue face paint, and this odd shaped brush, it's kind of got a curve to it, and then one like flat pointy side. And my camera just cut out once again. I had it sitting in the sun and I think it just got a little too hot. So I have just moved it out of the shade, so if you're wondering why I am slightly further across one side, that is why. Anyway, let's get started on these eyes. So next up, you just want to do the exact same thing to the other eye. I reckon while I wait for my eyes to dry, I will draw in the fur, which is the funnest part to do. So you will be wanting to take that fan brush that I showed you earlier and applying it to the black. Now you don't want it too thick to start off with because you want it to kind of be a real see-through black and maybe mix in with the white a little bit, so you want it to kind of turn grey. So just wipe off the excess on your hand. It's probably nearly better to have a little too less than a little too much. Now always remember to think about which way the fur would face. So on like one side of the face you want the fur going to the outside, and same with the other side. You don't want the fur all going directly across one side of the face because it will look a little unrealistic. But then again, I'm trying to make myself look like a cartoon cat, so really I don't think it's going to matter ridiculously much. So I reckon I'm going to start with ones above the eye. Now that you're done with the black or grey like fur on it, you're going to want to go in with the blue and the same brush, so make sure you wash it really well. And you're just going to want to do the same but with some white just to add in some highlights also. Okay, now while we wait for that to dry, I'm going to go through and do the pupils in the eyes. So once you're happy with how the pupils look, I'm just going to quickly cover up the little extra bits that made their way onto the eyes. So now you're just going to want to shade in the teeth and the eyes just to make them look a little bit more sunken and realistic. So for that, I'm going to use the Midnight colour from the Nude 2 palette. So that just gives the eyes kind of that sunken in look, so the brow bone is like above the eye and they're a little bit more, I don't even know the word, but like into the skull a little bit. So now you pretty much want to do the exact same but to the bottom and with a white colour just to give it that brightness to it. And before you put that away, you're going to want to do your teeth as well, because at the moment they look like they're just sitting on top of my face. So you want to just really make them have that kind of shadowed look to them. You're just going to want to add a little bit of kind of black to the top and down one of the sides. Now with some of the back ones, you want them to kind of seem all the way in. Now with the black as well, I'm just going to put a little bit of shading underneath the eyes, just really where the black fur is. So just want to dab it on ever so slightly. Okay, so now that you've shaded most of the area, the last pretty much thing you need to do is just apply the two little dots, I don't know, nostrils, whatever you want to call them. To complete this look, all you need to do is just paint yourself some cat ears and stick them to a headband, and you'd have your perfect Cheshire Cat Halloween costume. If not, if you wanted to go that little bit further, you could always paint down your neck and arms, doing the same technique I did with the fur. And also get a white long sleeve t-shirt and just with some black and blue material paint, just do the same fur and you'd have yourself a Cheshire Cat Halloween costume. I hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial as much as I did doing it for you. Please don't forget to subscribe and like, and don't forget to leave any other suggestions for tutorials that you'd like to see me do in the comments section below. I would just like to give Beauty by Nikki X a shout out, as she suggested that I should do the Cheshire Cat makeup. So if there's any makeups you'd like to see me do, don't forget to leave them in the comment section below. Bye! You guys hear that if I click mode? I guess because I broke it when I don't even know how old I was.